All right, before we get started here, I just want to give a warning to anybody who's single traveling to Egypt on their Tinder app. You swipe left and right, you might want to practice that before you go there. Could cause some problems, right? I'm very honored here to be moderating this panel of some of the Proptech all-stars here, and I'm going to have them each introduce themselves. So Ben, why don't we start with you?
Thanks, Greg. My name is Ben Quinn from Romito, Senior Manager of Real Estate Operations, and we are we're close to about a decade old now, and we provide visualization services to manufacturers, retailers, and distributors of home decor products. And then 2023, we launched a partnership with Redfin. You may have seen that little redesign button down the bottom of the left-hand image. Really, that's kind of what we do.
Jess?
Awesome. My name is Jessica Richardson, Head of Industry Relations at Propstream. Happy to be here. And we are working with MLSs and associations to just help your members with lead generation. So,
Eileen?
Hi, I'm Eileen Romito. I'm VP of Sales and Operations at Zenlist. We are a front-end MLS system that offers a collaborative, user-friendly platform for MLSs or for brokerages who choose to use it.
Awesome. So I'll start with you, Ben. Arthur C. Clarke had 3 laws, and I think his third law was the one that we most hear of, which is any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And when I look at this I think it's a shame just to call it virtual staging software, but this AI that you guys are using, it is like magic. I mean, you can do a room and it just turn it into something else, right? But what can you tell people out there? What are some tells on companies that are doing it right and companies that are not doing it so well?
I think ultimately, the largest tell is how the consumers respond, how the users respond to it, and what they're looking for, and how much they're engaging with it. So, when a user significantly engages with the platform, you'll see that there are obvious benefits to that.
Good. So, and Jess, you guys have been playing around with a little bit of AI also in your app, right? What can you tell us about Propstream and AI?
yeah, so one of the things you used to mention at Cloud CMA, Greg, I remember, is we go through the listing presentation and you would say, you can't smell the cat, right? So actually what we're doing at Propstream is we're using the photos from a property to kind of get the information that we can tell about the property. So what do you need without the human experience? We can see from historical data about properties that typically foreclose, what those might be looking like and what some key indicators are from the exterior and the interior of the home. So maybe it's gonna be a dated kitchen, maybe it's a dated bathroom, or the exterior of the home is needing some disrepair and some things need to be updated. So what we're doing is we're presenting to the subscribers of Propstream a foreclosure factor. So this is a great way for users to just at a glance use AI and be able to see what is the foreclosure factor on this property and how can I use that as a lead.
So, I mean, you could find a kitty box and kind of rate the odor too in there. Is that on the?
I mean, some people put their cats and dogs in their listing photos.
That's awesome. Eileen, I think, if any vendors out there, and I think this is a good conference to talk about this because I think the RESO audience is so engaged here, but you do a great job of sharing your thoughts and opinions. And I love reading the stuff that you put out there. I think mostly it's on LinkedIn. But if you're a vendor out there and you want to really make a difference and really make a name for yourself out there, I think getting involved in the community is a big thing here. And you do a great job of that. I know Andrea does a great job of that. But some of the stuff that I can't keep up with all the writing there that you're doing. But
There's a lot going on these days.
There is a lot going on these days,
Yeah.
right? But tell us something about Zenlist that a lot of people might not know right now.
Well, what's interesting is we've had an evolution over time. When we first started, I've been with them for 5 years, and we launched at the beginning of COVID, a week before the world shut down. And we were initially selling to agents and brokers, and what we were was and agent-client collaboration platform. And over time, that has grown to a place where we're seeing this trend nowadays, and many of you are probably hearing this as well and having these same conversations, where MLSs are talking about the concept of front end of choice, meaning giving choice to their users in how they access that core data. And some are, really cutting edge in this. Some are learning about it as we go along, but we have grown from this place of servicing agents and brokers to, we're actually a front end of choice system, because brokers were buying us as an alternative front end to access their MLS data. So sort of unexpectedly, we moved into the MLS world for that reason, and because that trend is growing.
Yeah, and for you, Ben, I mean, what is it like, you have a partnership with Redfin, right? How has that been? And has been pluses, minuses to being, partners with such a big organization like that?
Yes, and come back to the first question there. When you put the consumer at the center of it, you're really seeing that engagement, and those AI companies that focus on that are able to really prioritize those types of features and functionality. So on Redfin, for example, we've seen great success. It's really magnified the user engagement on those listings, and it's been able to really help ultimately sell a home. By increasing that engagement, we're able to increase the number of showings that are booked, because you're allowing the end user, to ultimately make it a personalized experience for them and allow them to really engage with that.
What do you say about
listing.
people like, sometimes, these, maybe some agents or others might put these photos up that are rendered by your software that are not exactly representative of the actual property itself? I mean, how do you guys manage that?
Yeah, so it's we position it in a way that allows the user to very intuitively and obviously go in and redesign a space. So it's a very obvious experience. It's not looking to deceive, it's actually looking to engage. It's quite obvious in our experience that it's there.
Yeah. So they're using it as a supplement to a listing that's already on the portal itself, right?
Yeah, very much so.
And for Propstream, I know that you guys augment a lot of some of the MLS data that comes through for agents that can use it as a lead gen. Can you give me an example of some of the stuff there? I think we were talking about like skip tracing, which is an old school term, or anything like that, but.
Yeah, so, first of all, I want to give a shout out to RESO, because Propstream is a certified data provider, so thank you for all you do for the industry. And we also get data from Clear Capital, First American. We have some MLS vendors as well, and we're continuing to explore more data providers, and we would love to work with more MLSs, obviously. And I think automation is one of the biggest things. Like, we are taking those lead lists and we're basically letting you know on a daily basis. We're running it in the background for you. So if 123 Main Street no longer qualifies for these leads, we're going to take it off the list. But if 567 Main Street now qualifies and falls into one of those categories, we'll do that work for you. So really it's about giving the realtor their time back to doing what they are best at, which is relationship sales. It's going to be going to that open house, networking in their community, and we're just really excited about all the things that we're taking off their plate. But yeah, skip tracing is also one of the things that we do. So if you want to collect that homeowner's contact information, we will scrub it for do not contact. So we'll provide the email, the phone number, and then you can go ahead and contact them.
So legit, it makes it legit, yeah.
Yeah, it makes it legit, so nobody's coming at you with one of those letters.
I need to get on that list, because I could keep on getting these phone calls and everything else that they are labeled with spam or whatever else, yeah. Eileen, I got to talk to you about, James is up here, right? And
Yeah.
I think this might kind of impact you more than most, in that, these new changes, it seems like changes are happening every day to either it's a status type or it's an off-on, IDX off, internet off or internet on, or all these different things that affect data, the data structures. I mean, how does Zenlist approach this? I mean, is it something that you guys, are you building your system so that they can comply with all this wackiness that comes down every day? I mean, what are your kind of secrets there?
Well, I mean, one of the reasons we got so involved with RESO, and I'll give a shout out to my back-end team over here, Brian and Jeff, is because of this, right? Because of the fragmentation and really how much of a strain it puts on a small company as who's really trying to service the end user but spends a lot of the resources on data management. And RESO is like the ultimate solution to that problem. And we want to encourage all MLSs to really adopt the standard as much as possible. So that's been a big thing for us, being involved in RESO, promoting that. We've had to build an internal system, and again, shout out to the backend team for this. This wasn't me, but to normalize the MLS data, because we service users in about 40 different MLSs. And so you can imagine, and that's just, a drop in the bucket compared to the number of MLSs out there.
Well, it depends on the MLSs. It could be, it could be over
it got to the
a million
point where,
agents.
exactly, it got to the point where we said, in order to scale this further, we have to have a really robust internal normalization engine, and that is fully based on the RESO Data Dictionary 2.0. So that's been huge for us.
Have these recent changes been a headache? I mean, are they something you guys can handle? I know that there's a time period now before we make these adjustments with demo and things like that.
I don't know from like a technical standpoint. I mean, we already get coming soon listings from some MLSs. We already get private listings, is what they call it in MRED. So the status of the listing is just another status. There may be additional nuances to it that we don't know about yet. For example, days on market. Go to Brian's session tomorrow to learn more about that. Days on market's going to be a huge topic of conversation in relation to these delayed marketing listings. And I think it's going to be hotly debated for a while too, just like everything else has been. So we'll see, but we're prepared, and we'll learn as the time comes.
Yeah. If anybody hasn't gone to LinkedIn and downloaded Eileen's bingo card for today, I would do that because that's a lot of fun.
Well, you have to change what's on the bingo card for your own, because otherwise everyone will get bingo at the same time.
Exactly. Ben, what's on the roadmap for you guys? I mean, you have this integration with Redfin, but I mean, what else is coming up here?
Yeah, exciting stuff in short. But the longer answer is definitely, look, Roomvo as a company, we believe that everyone deserves a beautiful home. And we believe that experience starts with the home search. So looking at all of the opportunities throughout the entire home buying journey as well as the home ownership journey, being able to integrate and facilitate tools there that allow that user to ultimately have, or allow that homeowner to have that beautiful home. There's products that we want to deliver and bring to market that allow that. Immediately, though, in our future, we're actually quite excited right now to be beta testing furniture visualization. So we're doing that now, and that's kind of in the immediate.
Yeah, I've seen some of that. I was poking around on the site. I mean, you can almost tell what type of furniture you want, right? Give me a mid-century or those kind of things are kind of cool. So with Propstream, I know you guys, you aggregate a lot of data, right, from different sources. But you're now, Brian Tepper's your CEO. He was the CTO over at Rapatoni, so he knows the space very well. But what are you looking for, any sort of like integrations with the MLS systems, or is this something that the MLSs can offer as a complement or supplement to what they're already, some of the other member services are providing, or what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, great question. So we actually just partner with the associations and MLSs. So what that means is if you have a dashboard and you want to throw up a Propstream tile on there or a lead gen tile that they can click to learn more, we'll just customize a landing page where your members can go and subscribe on a direct-to-member subscription, so no site licenses here. But what we do is we just give back a nice rev share on that, so it's just a really quick and simple integration.
Yeah, I think there's other companies, I think Gitch is another one that are providing these different levels of things that I haven't seen before that MLSs haven't really done before, but I like that. Yeah. So with you, Eileen, I want to kind of, for you, and I think maybe I'll start off with you because maybe you have the most to talk about here. We've got an audience of technologists and a lot of MLSs here. If you could I'll give you, it doesn't even have to be one, but can you name a big ask or a big ask that you would like to see happen with MLSs? Or, the stage is yours here to kind of talk to everybody.
Does my mic still on? I kind of envision a future. I see there's a lot of similarities. There's probably a lot of differences too, but similarities and differences between Proptech and FinTech, right? And we're in a world now where my banking data is in my Chase app, but if I want to connect it to Mint, if I want to connect it to Rocket Money, if I want to connect it to Wealthfront, I click, I authenticate through my Chase, credentials, and I can use that alternative app. And I think there's a world where the MLS is similar, where that data is available to that user, whoever is entitled to that data, in an easier way. And I will maybe channel James Dwiggins a little bit, because I think he had a really great mic drop moment up here earlier when he said, he was speaking to MLSs and he said, I really want you to think about if you're getting in the way of brokers being competitive to Wall Street technology. And as the middleman who sits between the brokers who want to use our product and the MLSs who provide the data to allow that to happen, I run into this daily, and it's really hard. And so I would ask that if you're sitting here as an MLS executive or someone who works for an MLS, really think about that and take it as an action item. Go back to your team and say, hey, if a broker wanted to use a new tool that they've chosen, and it might not fit exactly the criteria of what was defined as VOW or IDX 20 years ago, but if a broker wanted to use some new innovative tool, what's the process for that? What does that look like? And really think about if it's easy for them.
Yeah, I would tack a little bit on there, maybe a little controversial for everybody, but one of the things James says was like, there is a difference in cost between an IDX feed and a VOW feed. How about suspending that cost difference for the next year for vendors up here, right, of implementing these new changes that are happening there? Just throwing it out there, just show some love out there, because these things that are being dropped on some of these vendors that have these things that are all set up for IDX that now have to switch to VOW, those are some costs that they didn't really think about. Not forever, but kind of keep in mind.
And not to interrupt, but I'll add to that. We see a major difference. There's some MLSs that operate of, if a broker requests data, they get it for free.
Yeah.
And then other MLSs will charge for it. And so there's that
yeah,
thing
that's
to
the other
wrestle with,
ask.
too.
I'm not sure we're going to get everybody to be standardized on one of those, but Jessica?
Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, in the 6 months that I've been at Propstream, I've been to several different events, and whether they're wholesaler, brokerage, agent events, where they're saying, we need more leads. And then I go to an association MLS event, and they say, we need more inventory. So for me, I think Propstream is a great marriage of those two asks of the community, and I think that where agents get more leads, MLSs will get more inventory. I think that we've all seen the headlines, 70% of realtors didn't do a deal. Let's do better this year. I think that we can set them up for success in 2025 with different products that you're willing to give a chance and partner with, try it out. And even Gary Keller said recently in the headlines, agents must accept easy deals or dead.
Yeah.
So we've got to work harder for lead generation, and I think just the MLS is getting a little bit more comfortable with those partnerships would really help.
It's symbiotic for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, so Roomvo is an AI company, and we've been in the AI business for a while, and AI is hungry for data. So this is not necessarily an advertisement, but please just keep doing what you're doing with RESO. Please keep participating. Please keep doing this work, because it allows AI companies and companies in general really to continue to expand both domestically but also internationally. So continue doing the work of RESO, I would say, is my number one ask.
Yeah, standards do make it. I'm in the middle of with another app called Tuesday, on Tuesday.com if you want to check that out. And this is so much simpler than it was launching Cloud CMA and everything else. I'm not really worried about the tech. I'm more worried about just permissioning and getting, all you guys to return my phone calls. That's the biggest deal, right? But I am so really, really optimistic about the future. I talk to vendors like you guys all the time. There's so much cool stuff coming down the pipeline. I think there was a time when a lot of founders had kind of built a company up and sold it, and now they're coming back with new stuff because they have that passion and drive. And I think there's just all the things that are going on there, that are going on in the industry now, can be viewed as like, oh, this is just another thing, but it's opportunity. And I think a lot of people are going to take that opportunity and build some really, really great stuff. And I hope you guys are open to that and give them the opportunity to do that. But thank you guys, and thank you guys very much.